Welcome back to the channel. Today we're reviewing On China by Henry Kissinger, a book that provides a deep and strategic look at China's history, diplomacy, and role in global politics. Kissinger, as a former U.S. Secretary of State, played a key role in opening diplomatic relations between the U.S. and China. And in this book, he shares his insights on China's long-term strategy and worldview. So, what makes On China a must-read? Let's explore. Who is Henry Kissinger? Before we get into the book, let's talk about the author. Henry Kissinger is one of the most well-known and controversial figures in U.S. foreign policy. He served as National Security Advisor and later as Secretary of State under Presidents Nixon and Ford. He was a key architect of U.S. China relations in the 1970s, orchestrating Nixon's historic visit to Beijing in 1972. With decades of diplomatic experience, Kissinger brings a unique perspective to China, one that combines historical analysis with first-hand accounts of high-stakes negotiations. Now, let's break down the key themes of the book. China's historical perspective on power and diplomacy. One of the central themes of On China is how China's long history influences its modern policies. Kissinger takes us back thousands of years to explain how Chinese rulers viewed power, strategy, and diplomacy. Unlike the West, which often sees history as a series of conflicts and conquests, China's strategic thinking is shaped by patience, continuity, and indirect influence. Kissinger frequently references The Art of War by Sun Tzu, highlighting China's preference for strategic maneuvering over direct confrontation. For example, he explains how China historically avoided large-scale wars by using diplomacy, deception, and economic influence to shape events in its favor. This mindset continues to influence China's approach to global politics today. It's a century of humiliation and its impact on China's foreign policy. Major part of China's modern identity comes from what it calls the century of humiliation. From the Opium Wars in the 19th century to Japan's invasion in the 20th century, China suffered a series of defeats at the hands of foreign powers. These events deeply shaped China's national psyche, leading to a determination to never be weak again. Kissinger argues that understanding this history is crucial for understanding China's foreign policy today. Whether it's territorial disputes, trade negotiations, or military modernization, China's leaders operate with a strong sense of historical injustice and a desire to reclaim their country's status as a great power. Kissinger's role in U.S. China relations. One of the most fascinating parts of the book is Kissinger's first-hand account of his secret trip to China in 1971, which paved the way for President Nixon's visit the following year. This moment marked a major turning point in global geopolitics as it led to the normalization of relations between the U.S. and China. Kissinger describes his meetings with Chinese leaders, including Zhou Enlai and Mao Zedong, highlighting their negotiating styles and strategic thinking. He provides detailed insights into how China approached diplomacy, often using patience and ambiguity to gain the upper hand. For example, he recalls how Mao spoke in broad philosophical terms, while Zhou Enlai focused on the specifics of negotiations, reflecting a classic Chinese diplomatic strategy, balancing long-term vision with short-term tactics. China's approach to strategy and power. Kissinger contrasts China's strategic culture with that of the West. While Western diplomacy often relies on clear agreements and fixed alliances, China prefers flexibility and ambiguity. This can be seen in how China manages its relationships with other countries, offering economic partnerships while keeping its long-term goals unclear. He also discusses the tributary system, an old Chinese diplomatic model where neighboring countries would acknowledge China's superiority in exchange for economic benefits. Some analysts argue that China is reviving a modern version of this system through initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative. Kissinger warns that misunderstanding China's strategic thinking could lead to unnecessary conflicts. He argues that both the U.S. and China must recognize their differences and find ways to coexist rather than compete in destructive ways. China's future and global role. The final chapters, Kissinger explores China's potential future and its evolving role in global politics. He discusses key issues like the U.S. China rivalry in the 21st century China, his military rise and territorial claims, the role of economic influence in shaping global power. Dynamic Kissinger emphasizes that while competition between the U.S. and China is inevitable, it does not have to lead to war. He advocates for careful diplomacy and mutual understanding to prevent unnecessary conflicts. Strengths of the book. Of the biggest strengths of On China is Kissinger's deep knowledge of diplomacy. His first-hand experiences and historical insights make this book incredibly valuable for anyone interested in international relations. Another strength is how the book bridges history and modern politics. Kissinger connects ancient Chinese philosophy with contemporary issues, making it clear that China's approach to power is deeply rooted in its past. Criticisms of the book. Despite its strengths, On China has some criticisms. Some argue that Kissinger is too sympathetic to China's leadership. He's often downplaying its human rights abuses and authoritarian policies. Others feel that he focuses too much on elite diplomacy, ignoring the role of ordinary people in shaping China's future. However, even with these criticisms, the book remains one of the most insightful works on China's strategic mindset. Final Thoughts in China is a must-read for anyone interested in history, diplomacy, and geopolitics. Kissinger's analysis helps us understand not just China's past, but also how it thinks about power and strategy today. Whether you agree with Kissinger's views or not, this book offers invaluable insights into one of the world's most influential countries. What are your thoughts on China's rise as a global power? Have you read On China? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this review, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more book insights. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.